warning. Make sure everyone's ready to record. And then, all right, are you ready? Yeah,
Right.
so before I get to that, I'm Jackie. I'm one of the two hosts of Jackie and Irvin Are Accidentally in Charge, which is the podcast that we're on. And you are?
I am Ethan. That's it. I'm just Ethan.
That's like the simplest intro that I've had yet. You're just like, I'm Ethan. And Ethan, I know I met you through the Drop Dead Generous project, and I've just been looking at your
Amazing. I'm
stuff
obsessed with
here,
that
which
project.
is, oh my gosh, we'll totally get there because I did interview Tom and John as well for that. But today we're going to be talking about your project that you've shown me a little bit about, and also your book and all of these things you've done, which I was looking at your about page. I was telling you right before this call, and I'm really amazed at all the things that are on here, but we'll get back to that. But before we go to that, you asked me a question about my bat, and so I'll just grab him. So he's just a Halloween guy, but I'm rather obsessive of a person, and like I'm completely obsessed with bats. Like I think I have my bat necklace on too. So I just like collect all kinds of bat decor, and there's lots of it in this room. If I were to pick the camera up and walk around, there's like bat themed things all over the place. Like you can kind of see the bat knobs on the dresser here,
Yes.
Like I just when I like something, I go a little whole hog on it. That's like one of my personality traits.
What's the why?
Probably autism. Almost certainly, as I've come to discover very recently, but I actually, that's been really helpful information because I didn't know why before, and it's really been a delight to discover that there's other people like me and that they kind of obsess in the same way about their interests. So but yeah, that's been a revelation of the last 5 years. I think I found out more or less during the pandemic when family members started getting diagnosed, and I started digging into neurodivergence and going, oh, that sounds like me. That sounds like me too. So
there's no backstory of falling into a well or being bit by a bat or
anything? I would love to invent one to make it more exciting, because that suits. And what's funny is, I can tell that, your page is talking here about how you do storytelling, and immediately you jumped to like, here's the best version of that story. Like, yes, there was a cave.
This is a superhero story. This is the beginning of a superhero.
Absolutely. Right? I love it. I absolutely love it. Well, that's what's so funny is, early on in the podcast, I was struggling to explain what I was doing here or what the point of it was. And very quickly, it became clear that it was about storytelling in part, that I've collected a bunch of incredible humans over the years. And I love to like get them to tell their stories, share their stories. And the number one thing people say when I ask them to be on the podcast, because I ask everybody, not just like, I love asking like my cool creative, like famous-y people that I've met, but I also like meeting, ordinary people and being like, hey, you want to be interviewed? And they're always like, I'm not that interesting. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, yes, you are. Like, everyone is interesting. So,
story is how humans process what it means to be human. And it is to tell stories and to participate in stories is what helps our brains to make sense of the world. And so it is so, so important. But then, I mean, through all these, I've been playing catch now. Well, I've been playing catch my whole life, but as an adult, I have been intentionally playing catch with people. And when I was first worried about it or first starting, I'd go connect with someone and I'd be like, well, I'd be driving to go meet them, and I'd be worried, what if we have nothing to talk about? What if,
right?
And what I discovered is that this simple activity of throwing a ball distracts your brain enough to open up real conversation and real connection. And everybody has a story. Everybody has more than what they have, tons of stories. They just need opportunities to tell them. And so what I say when people talk to me about playing catch, of course I'm a passionate baseball fan and I love it, but really what it is I'm a collector of stories. And
Oh, that's so great. That's so, and I think I'm right there with you. Like, that's something I'm working on understanding, it's I'm one of these people that learns by doing. So I just jumped into
Yep.
doing this and then I'm like reverse
Yes.
engineering, figuring out like what it is that I'm doing, but absolutely a collector of stories is probably the best expression of it I've heard yet, because that's exactly it. And in my family, at least, we have a tradition of like telling stories over and over again,
Yes.
and to the point where like my kids roll their eyes because they know I'm about to launch into the one that they've heard, many, many times. And, my grandfather did that, my father did that, I do it. And the thing is, like, no matter how many times they would tell the story, I would find new things, or I would hear new things, or I would take delight in the way they were telling it to someone else, or I would hear the way they retooled it each time, and I never got tired of hearing it. Like to this day, I'll like sort of prompt my dad to like, I'll set him
Hey,
off.
tell
So
me
that
this.
he'll tell I'm like, hey, did you tell him the one about the toilet on top of the high school or whatever? And he'll just like launch into it because it's like, I like hearing it so much, the way that they retell the stories.
So how many
Yeah.
kids? What ages?
I have two. And it's so funny. See, I'm supposed to be interviewing you and you're already interviewing me.
That's fine.
But I
We're
have
just
two.
telling stories.
My son is 20 and my daughter is about to turn 18. So, they're at maximum eye rolling stage still.
So a million years ago, Wendy's used to have these tables that had like old-fashioned old newspaper print on them. Do you remember those at all?
I do actually. Yeah,
Okay.
I
Well,
definitely do.
okay. This is going to be a story that leads into a story. Whenever we would go eat at Wendy's, there was an advertisement on that newspaper print for a wooden leg. And my mom, when she was growing up, her best friend's dad had a wooden leg. And so the way the story goes is, oh my gosh, I'm going to butcher this story and I'm going to feel awful. But I think it was something like she was spending the night with her friend and she went to use the bathroom and he had his leg up on the back of the bathroom door and it freaked her out so much that she ran all the way home. So that was one version of the wooden leg story. Well, anyway, whenever my sister and I would go out to eat at Wendy's with my parents, we would run around looking at the tops of the tables, trying to find the advertisement for the wooden leg. And the first we'd slam our, got it, I found the wooden leg. And that would be the table that we would sit at. And so whoever found the wooden leg table, that was how we won. So now fast forward 35 years, and my wife and my family, we are attending a very, very small church. And at the very back of the church, they have these old tables from Wendy's set up,
No
with like brochures and
way.
stuff. And I walked in and I saw the wooden leg table, and I'm sure it was way too loud. It was way too. I took a picture of it, sent it to my mom and my sister, and just said, "Hey, I wanted you to know I won for today." And it was wonderful.
That is fabulous. Oh my gosh, I love that, and I would totally kill to have one. Like that's one of
Right?
it's one of those things too where you don't think about it and you don't realize they've gone until someone tells, and then you're like, oh right, I remember those, and now I realize they've been gone for a long time, and I
Yeah.
wouldn't have remembered that they existed if you hadn't told me that story. So I don't know, this thing about memory has come up a lot
Oh gosh.
recently. You know, I've lost a few people this year. It's been a really difficult year, and I have a friend that lost a parent, and their parent had dementia, and so after their parent passed away, they were reflecting on like the nature of documenting memories, that you can like record things for your kids, or like leave some sort of like something behind or whatever. And I really have been thinking about, because the first thing you do, like when I lose a friend, is go hunting for the pictures of them, or and then much like that story where you told me about the Wendy's table, and I thought, oh, I hadn't remembered that they even existed before you told me that story. And it's like when I go looking at the old pictures, then I remember stories of things that I wouldn't have remembered that are like tied to it. And it's like a little web of things. Like when you hear a song you haven't heard for 20 years and suddenly you're like back in high school and where you were when you heard the song the first time, or the ways that memory is connected to, like, I think, is it Ratatouille where he takes the bite of the food and then he transforms and he's like in his mother's kitchen.
Ratatouille's so good.
But, yeah, and I think we've all had that experience though of like, smelling something and suddenly it's like, oh, that's my grandmother's perfume or whatever, and it like, very viscerally brings back a memory. So I don't know, I guess I just hadn't fitted storytelling into that, that there's this way that when we're telling these stories, it's like you're keeping the memories alive and you're, making like meaning out of them. And I think that's exactly what I want to do with all of this. So all of that, we've jumped way ahead. Let's get back to your story, which I first heard on the calls for Drop Dead Generous, and we can kind of circle back to them and what they're doing. Sure. But so you were doing a year of playing catch, is what I understand, right? So, take me back to the beginning of that. Like, how did you get started? What sparked that?
It's a story. It's crazy. So we are going to go back to the winter of 2017, and I am a stay-at-home dad. I have 2 daughters. My wife is a special education elementary school teacher. And I was working on 2 different book projects at the time, and I didn't know it. I hadn't really been diagnosed, but looking back, I was probably depressed.
Okay.
The projects I was working on, I was just doing because I'd get paid, but they were slow, and the end was a long way off. And so for Christmas 2017, my youngest daughter gave me a baseball, and it was just hand scrawled, just her handwriting, "Dad, want to play catch." And that was it. And I interpreted it as like a gift certificate that she's giving to me that I can redeem for a game of catch. A long time later, I learned that wasn't the case. It was just art. It was, and so I took her baseball and I put it on a shelf in my writing desk where I would see it. And so now fast forward a week, and it is January 1st, 2018. And I am trying to work on one of those book projects, and nothing is happening. I mean, I am just staring at the screen.
Oh, I know that feeling really well. Yeah.
And I mean, it really was like that cartoon character moment of where the dark cloud just comes and settles over the person. Yeah. And it was just that kind of feeling. And I remember I lean back in my chair and I look up, and the first thing I see is that ball, because it's the newest thing on the shelf. And so I just yell out, I was like, "Hey, Sophie, you want to go play catch?" And Sophie is an artist, and we can talk all about her art. I will gladly talk about that all day long. And she was back in her room doing one kind of art project or another. And she said outside. And so I look up the weather app, and it's 1 degree on January 1st. But I know enough that if we play catch inside, I will break something. So I said, yes, outside. And then she said, at a baseball field. And so I was trying to think, well, what baseball field could we use January 1st? And I thought of one. It's a couple miles from my house. Yes, outside at a baseball field. Well, she got quiet. And I just figured that was it. I thought that's the end of and like several minutes passed before she said, okay. And so before we could change our mind, I mean, we put on half a dozen layers of clothes.
And where were you?
We drove to just this South Springfield, Missouri. Yep, and drove 2 miles to this old. It used to be a ballpark that competitive fast pitch softball teams used next to one of the high schools. Drove to it, and we go outside, and there's no snow on the ground. The sun is out, but it's bitterly cold. And so we try and do some really quick stretches. Really hard to stretch when you're wearing half a dozen layers of clothes. we did like 25 or 30 throws. And for some reason, I mean, at the time I had a flip phone. So we used her phone and we took a selfie and ran back to the van, put the heat on high, go home. And I had a blog, and I am not exaggerating when I say that my mom and my aunt were the only people that read that blog. I mean,
Yeah, just like my podcast. Oh,
that's
good.
literally it. And I posted a picture. I said something like, first day of the year, game of catch with my daughter, great way to start the new year. So later that same day, later that afternoon, I'm folding laundry. And my oldest daughter, she's a musician, and I could talk about her music all day long if you want to talk about that. She's a violinist.
That's so crazy. Just sorry, totally
Oh,
different.
yeah.
But my oldest son is a musician and my daughter is the artist, so it's just funny.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love those.
But anyway,
music and art.
different music.
But she said, Dad, I'll play catch with you. So I check it. Now it's warmed up to 5 degrees. And so we just decided we're going to go in the backyard, and the dog comes out with us. The dog is just going bonkers every time, barking and running and everything. Well, it's warmed up just enough or whatever that our glasses start to fog over while we're playing. It's just terrifying. And so I was like, oh, we should probably be done. So we step inside, and our glasses are still fogged over. So I use her phone. I take a selfie. And for the second time, I decide to put 2 games of catch. First day of the year. It's great. It's wonderful. And that's it. That is all.
That's the beginning.
So our family ritual was we eat dinner at the table together. That's it. That's it. And that's what we did for the girls the entirety of their lives. And, but being January 1st, we kind of asked those big questions, what are your dreams? What are your hopes? Those big New Year questions. And they kind of tag teamed me, and they're like, Dad, what would happen if you played catch every day for a year?
Oh my
God.
God.
I remember them asking that question, and it lasted that long before I just started laughing. I was like, what do you mean what would happen? I would need surgery. That's what would happen. And start talking. And I've had multiple major surgeries. I know the wonderful sleep of anesthesia, and I know the hard work of recovery, and I don't want it. No more. No, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I answer like that, kind of my smart aleck dad response. And they're like, well, you should just try it and see what would happen. And so over the first
smart girls.
Yes. The first several days at the beginning of 2018, they encouraged me. Well, let's play. Who are you going to play catch with it? And it took me about 5 days before I jumped in, kind of like what you said. I jumped in with both feet, and I said, all right, we're going to see what I'm going to get. This is my job. I am going to play catch this year and see what happens. And it changed my life. And I have thought about that, has been at the forefront of my mind for the last 8 years. And you were talking about obsessing. Yes, I obsess about playing catch and just the amazing people and the amazing stories that I have heard.
Yeah.
That I can't imagine happening any other way. And it's just.
So is that part of what makes it so special, is the people you connect with through doing it?
Yes. And just, I have learned so much.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I feel like I should warn you, the train is getting ready to pass. So it's going to get loud here in a minute.
No worries.
We will be greeted.
That's so funny. We have one here too, but it doesn't pass at this time, so I'm safe for the moment. Yeah.
I didn't think it was going to pass at this time, but I guess it is. That's, well, it happens. But so since my initial catch, so I wrote a book. It published in I spent 2019 writing the book. It published in 2020, right in the middle of COVID craziness. And so all these ideas and stuff I had about going out and playing catch, all the marketing was virtual, was electronic.
Right. Oh my gosh.
But I have continued to research and to learn, and playing catch. There's this organization, the Center for Healing and Justice Through Sport. And they say that playing catch is one of those those magic brain activities for three reasons. One, it's connection. It is in person. It is, you are making eye contact. You have these non-verbals that you're communicating
Yeah.
with somebody, but you don't do it through a screen. You don't do it while you're holding a phone or somebody's going to break a nose or a window or whatever. So it is. So because of what it is, just by its very nature to play catch, communication happens. I mean, it
Yeah.
becomes very natural for stories. So that's number one. Number two is managing stress. So if you're only comfortable being 10 feet apart and just lightly tossing the ball, you're making that choice. But if you say, let's go 300 feet apart and see if we can throw apart our shoulders, here comes the train. He's gonna honk again.
Oh yeah, there it is.
He's got two more honks.
I actually like the sound of trains.
And he's got one more, and the last one's the really long one.
I would miss mine if it wasn't.
Okay. Maybe he's still going. Holy cow. Okay, hopefully it's done.
Oh, too funny. I can hear
Okay,
mine. Wait, I said it didn't pass it this time, but I hear it in the background. That's wild.
No
What are
way.
the chances that they would pass
That's
at the same
pretty
time? That's too funny. I think I just stopped noticing it. You know how like after a while
Yeah.
you tune it out.
Sound blowing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I think he's done. Okay, so managing stress. You get to make the choice how much you want to challenge yourself. So if you make a bad throw or if you drop the ball, your brain is fine. I've made this choice. I'll just try again. I'll try again. And that's one of the most important lessons I think playing catch teaches, is just that resilience, that tenacity. Oh, I dropped it. Try again. Try again. That's what I teach my students all the time. But the third one. Okay, so we got connection, managing stress. The third one, it is a patterned, repetitive, rhythmic movement. Patterned, I mean, it's just back and forth. Rhythmic, you get into this repetitive. I mean, it's just, and because it is a patterned, repetitive, rhythmic movement, it takes the anxieties and the anxious. I can't think of the, but the workings
it
of the
turns
brain.
off that. Yeah, the squirrels.
And it regulates the brain and restores you to a relaxed state. And
You're making me connect dots for sure, because the closest experience I have is juggling, and it's very similar, right? Like this, I mean, I'm connecting all the same things you're saying about playing catch. The only difference is that, of course, when you're doing it by yourself, you're not like with the partner, so the communication part. But because where I was learning juggling was local, and it was a World Juggling Day, and it was with other people. So I was being taught how to juggle. So I was juggling, and I was juggling with someone juggling next to me, and kind of giving me pointers on how to do it better or whatever. So it was that back and forth communication.
So
wild.
And I just continued to research and learn about it, and then now use it as a tool to mentor students, but also to build community. And then
that was like, during the pandemic was when your book launched, but then that led to you doing this like more teaching other people. Like I kind of skipped ahead.
There. So shortly after it published, well, the very first person is this guy named Jason. Jason lived in, I always forget. He was either in Washington or Oregon. He's in your neck of the woods. Okay.
Okay.
And Jason reached out to me, said, "I want to do what you did. Is that okay?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "I'm no one. You don't have to ask me for permission to play catch.
I'm not the official catch permission fairy."
And so I felt obligated to reply, but I didn't. And so I came up with the rules. I said, all right, Jason, here's the rules. Yes, you have my permission to attempt to play catch for a year. But I want to ask you to stay in touch with me so I can encourage you, like my wife and my daughters encouraged me throughout because almost every night when we're having dinner, they're like, Dad, tell us the story of who you play catch with today. Oh
Mhm.
yeah, this is the, and so they encouraged me on a daily basis. And Dad, what would happen if you? Now I know. I collected human stories, and so Jason Hinkle he'd respond, and he played catch. There's three really amazing things to his story. One, he was diagnosed with brain cancer in the middle of it.
Oh
He didn't
gosh.
stop. He played
Oh
catch with his
gosh.
surgeon the day that he had brain. He played catch with nurses in recovery, and he
No.
kept going. He lasted more than 500 days consecutively. And he said he finally stopped because he was tired of the Pacific Northwest weather, of dealing with the Pacific Northwest weather.
Oh my goodness.
Um,
Yeah. But
last,
still, wow.
I think it was, oh my gosh, now my years are blurring together. I can't remember if it was, maybe it was 24. I think Jason passed away.
Oh, I'm so
At
sorry.
his um, memorial service, his wife organized a community-wide game of catch.
Oh, what an amazing thing. Oh my gosh.
So he was the first, but there have now been, I've literally lost track, but there are people literally from coast to coast who have done this catch playing year, and their stories are just amazing. There's another guy, John Sukanik, Washougal, Washington. He's been playing catch every day for 4 consecutive years.
Holy cats.
And
4 years.
then there's another John in Boston, Massachusetts, who is 2 months behind John Sukanik, and he has been playing. I mean, he started doing it as a way to connect with his sons, and
Mhm.
it grew into this community thing where he just uses it. So many stories I could tell you. There are multiple dads who lost their sons.
Mhm.
Scott Yell, um, Don Kirk, Dan Bryan, they all survived their sons and used playing catch as a way of healing and a way
Wow.
to honor the lives of their sons. There's another guy. Do you know what Miracle League is?
No, I've never heard of it.
Oh, okay. Here's your homework. Look up Miracle League.
Okay.
Miracle League started in Georgia, and it is a nonprofit organization that builds baseball fields so kids with disabilities can play ball. Their
Oh, how
motto is
cool.
every child deserves a chance to play ball. So they build these super level rubberized playing surfaces, so like kids in wheelchairs and walkers can get the experience of playing ball. And so we have a local Miracle League just a couple of miles away from here, and kids who play are often paired with a buddy. Everybody hits, everybody scores, every game ends in a tie, and it is the most joyful community to watch these kids playing ball. So there's this guy, Kevin Negard. He is in Sioux City, Iowa. He reaches out,
Okay.
said, "Yeah, I want to do this playing catch thing. I want to play catch for a year. I want to start on my 60th birthday. I'm going to play catch with my dad, and I'm going to play catch for a year to see if I can raise money for my local Miracle League." He said, "And I'm going to dream big. I want to raise $100,000." I was like, "Fantastic, go for it. Stay in touch, keep in touch. Let me know how it goes." Well, he does it. I got to play catch with him a couple times, and he raised like $360,000 in
Oh
his
my
year.
gosh.
I'm crazy. He played
That's
catch in 5 different
incredible.
countries, and it's just 2,000 people. All he played catch with people who didn't speak English, and
Mhm.
so it became this international language. This way to connect when you can't
Right,
verbally
right.
connect, and so
I've
so
seen
there's
that
just
happen with, like, a
so
soccer ball
many.
too, right? Where they
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
same magic, yeah. Mhm.
Yep. So many stories, and it's just there's good happening, and one of the things that I've since learned is how important play is as we get older.
Yeah.
That if our bodies were made to play and our brains craved play, and if we don't play, that's when we become anxious and depressed and lonely and bitter. And so
Oh my
looking back
goodness.
to when I started, I probably wasn't playing very much before this. And now my body, I work in an office, a nonprofit community partnership of the Ozarks. There's probably, I don't know, 40 people in the campus that I'm on in the main office. And there are random times, maybe I'm in the kitchen heating up my lunch or just walking to the copy, that I will just stop and pretend that I'm throwing a ball, and all of a sudden somebody jumps out and it's just that craving play, and then now pulling it into my current job of mentoring students. When you play intergenerationally, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it is
Yeah.
amazing. And all of a sudden, I just get kids, all right, how's things at school? And they will talk about everything, but they've got an adult who cares about them, who's paying attention to them, and so many good things happen. So
That is such an, I don't know, I feel like that's a really, really powerful insight about play. Like, and to come from something as simple as playing catch, but just you're blowing my mind. You can hear me like going, like all the little fireworks are going off at once. But you know, um, I always struggled to define what I did for work too. Like, I'm always kind of like retooling things. And, I studied English. I wanted to be a writer at one point, which is amazing when I talk to people like you that have actually written books, and then, I was an artist for a number of years and all these things, but those labels never quite fit well. Like, I never thought of myself really as a writer. I went to school with a lot of people that were getting MFAs, and they were always talking about how they wanted to, and I really related more as a reader. Like I'm a voracious reader and I love books. So, but I never really felt like the word writer fit me well. It's, not that I don't write, but it just didn't fit. And same when I got to artist, like, I was an artist and I am still, but the label itself never quite fit. I often would say like I'm a painter, or like I would use other words,
Yeah.
And it was only very recently that I was like, oh, you know what I am? I'm a comedian. Like that's like, and it was the most ridiculous thing. It's like one of those things that means nothing to anyone else, but like to you, and it's like, I cannot live without that sense of like play and having a good time and making people laugh. Like that's, so even when I'm doing art or when I'm writing or when I'm doing the podcast or whatever, it's funny because I always say that, and my daughter loves to point out that like most of the time our podcast is not funny and we don't make people laugh, and it's very serious. We're talking about these very serious things about like losing people that are important to us and like our life's work and meaning. And I'm like, I think that there is something where you can be like utterly serious and absolutely ridiculous at the same time. And if there is such a thing, like that's kind of like what I'm trying to embody. But, again, the kids are just going to roll their eyes at me forever. But anyway, back to
the whole point of kids. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah. I'm glad you know what I'm talking about. But to come back to your idea, the idea that play is essential, but I think the thing you said that just knocked me over and made me like freeze there for a second is the connection between feeling anxious and bitter and that angry, because I get that way. And I did a project called 100 Unicycles where I raised money for suicide prevention. And the reason I raised money for suicide prevention is because I myself had a really bad depression about 2013, really nasty moment in my life, and came back from it. And what got me out of my particular corner I was in that moment in time was I decided that I couldn't die because I hadn't learned to ride a unicycle yet. And it's such an absurd thing to communicate.
What a wonderful statement.
But it was because every other reason was like, if I die, then my kids will be miserable, or if I die, I'll let my family down. It was like some really bad thing, even though they were important reasons. They were all like things that made me feel guilty and sad and worse, But when it was like something to live for and look forward to that was silly and ridiculous and pointless, And by the way, I still haven't learned to ride my unicycle. I have it, but we'll get there. But anyway, but it was just that absurdity that kind of like knocked me out of that stuck place I was in. And so, and it just made me laugh, you know. And I always know I'm going to be okay when I have that moment of giggle where you're just like, okay, I'm back up off the floor and I'm going to go do something silly
That
now,
sense
you
of
know.
wonder and
So
whimsy that we
yeah,
need so much.
but I really hadn't like connected those two things because they're not obviously connected. The laughter and the like giddiness and the play with like that anxiety and worry and fear, and where we get like where we don't reach out or trust other people or whatever. Like I hadn't seen those as directly connected until you drew that line for me. So thank you. That's really powerful.
One of my favorite things to say is playing catch reminds us what it means to be human. And that, you know, this is something that you just do for the joy of it. I mean, and I am not playing catch with dreams of playing professional. No,
Yeah.
no. I'm not. I am just. This is an activity that I am just doing for its own sake. This is all I want to do. This is it. And within there, you get the freedom and the permission to try silly things, to do silly things, to do it wrong, to do it with your non-dominant hand. And now you're like, well, I'm sorry, I can't hit that wall, but we can still chase the ball. These things that we do for the joy that are self-encompassed, that just exist for themselves. We need it literally on a daily basis.
Singing in the car, right? Like,
yes,
that kind of.
and that's when you said, you know, your kids, music and art. I mean, those are the two programs that schools like to cut first.
Yeah,
that's so important. That music and art are forms of play, and it is just without music and art, oh my gosh, I do not want to live in that world without music.
Right? Yeah.
And so, I being my wife was stay-at-home mom until we lived in Kansas City. We moved when my oldest was entering middle school, and I became stay-at-home dad writer at that point. And so we each got these opportunities to spend meaningful time with our daughters, and the whole time we encouraged as much as possible for them, keep making music, keep making art. This is so important for who you are, for your health, but what our world needs today. And I am just so proud of and so amazed by how my daughters have used their creativity. My oldest teaches middle school orchestra.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, I don't know why she chose that age, because I think it's crazy.
That, you know, I worked with some middle school teachers because I at one point wanted to be a teacher, and I was like doing a teaching track, and they said that everyone remembers middle school as this time of like, you know, being bullied and like not fitting in and being awkward and all of this. But so people don't want to teach it because they remember that it was unpleasant or something. But when you're there as a teacher, it's like all you see is these really sweet kids, and it's like it's a great age, and it's actually really fun to teach them. And so they're like so many people don't want to do it because they remember their experience being unpleasant, but they don't see that like from the other direction, it's actually a really great age to work with. So
well, she loves it, and she's still playing violin, plays in a state orchestra. She's getting ready to do a performance where the orchestra plays the music to a showing of the movie, and they're going to do How to Train Your Dragon, which is one of my favorite
that's how they used
movies.
to do it. Like they used to have the pit with the orchestra, right, that played for movies.
So and then my youngest is she's a wildlife biologist, but she uses her art to do nature drawings, and so she's created murals, and she's just incredible.
Oh, that sounds amazing! I definitely have to see her artwork. You know that's my other channel. So
I don't even know how we got there, But
Yeah, well, kids, because, we were talking about our kids and play and, and then that led naturally to like our kids and what they're doing and the art and music and that we don't want to live in a world without those things, I think was the through line, right? And I think a lot of people did discover that during the pandemic when all of a sudden, I remember I really struggled during that time because like many people, I was stuck at home and, my kid was doing online school and we were it was just the two of us most of the time. And I was still running the art business. And it was like, my partner at the time was working for the hospital. And so it's like he was designated an essential worker. And he was very clearly doing like, it was scary, but he was also very clearly doing what was considered important work. And then what I was doing was considered like non-essential and you stay home and stay out of the way of us important essential workers. And I just remember really having trouble with that at the time. I mean, there were a lot of other things going on then, but that feeling of like what I do is not considered essential. And it was upsetting because at the same time, the only thing that got people through that year in many ways was art and music and movies and the things that like playing catch with your family, the things that were play and like music and art and those things joyful are what got us through. And I don't know, everybody making sourdough bread. But it's a weird time and weird things that it was like gardening and baking, right? Like the things we turned to were like very old things, like growing plants in the ground and baking with fire. It's like we just like regressed to some earlier stage of civilization, but it makes it like where we were saying what I was saying is like people were saying, oh, there's essential workers and there are these things and then there's the rest of you. And it was like, but music and art and these things are essential. Like they can't just, I don't want the world that's just the like essential things, so I don't know. I feel like I've spent the last 5 years kind of recovering from that moment and kind of like coming back to saying, no, this is important and this is essential and this is what makes everything else meaningful, so.
One of my favorite pandemic stories, I think I was going to the store. I don't remember where I was going, but I happened to be driving by the same ballpark that I played catch with my daughter on that first January 1st. And I was just driving by probably to console myself or whatever. And I look out the window and there's a guy on the field by himself. And he is literally just throwing up the ball and hitting it. And I mean, we're under full COVID protocols. And that's when it clicked in my brain. You're more than 6 feet apart when you play catch.
Oh, that's true.
So my glove was in I was carrying I carried gloves with me. So I grabbed I parked the car and I get about 30 feet away from him. I said, hey, you want to play catch? And he's like, are you serious? It's like, yeah, I'm serious. And so probably for about 15, 20, well, turns out he is a professor at a local college, and he and I became friends through the pandemic playing catch because of that moment. And now this, he's brilliant. Doctor of mathematics and all this stuff. And he tries to talk to me about stuff that I do not understand. I mean, he is brilliant.
Oh, I've met those people. Yeah.
But multiple times a year we'll connect just for a game of catch, just for the sake of having fun. Last time we played catch, it was like 40-mile-an-hour winds, which is its own adventure. But
I love too the response, because think about it, like, are you serious? It's like, no, I'm not serious. Let's do it.
Exactly why I'm
like, yeah, I love it. It just is so on theme, like with the I don't know. I have a weird sense of humor, and just the idea of like, do you want to play a game? And the question and response is, are you serious?
Yeah, I'm very serious. It's a matter of life or death right here. We are playing.
That is fabulous. So tell me more about where it's led these days. So I know I want to circle back to Drop Dead Generous and how you got involved in
Generous.
that. Yeah.
Okay, so I have been working at Community Partnership of the Ozarks
Mm-hmm.
since the last day in July 2024. My job is to mentor students and to build community, and I am given great trust and freedom in how I mentor students. We partner with the local school district.
Okay.
The school district in Springfield is the largest school district in the state, 20 some odd thousand students, whatever. And
Wow.
so we work in Title I schools, it just with students who need a little bit of extra encouragement.
Sure.
And so, for my first 6 months, I was like, I don't know how to do what I do. And my
Oh, that's my life story in a
yeah, right.
nutshell. So yeah.
And so my supervisors were there's like, just keep showing up at the schools. You'll figure it out. Just keep
Mhm.
showing up, and I would get so nervous pulling into the parking lot. I felt completely out of place at this school. So I just, build relationship. And then it occurred to me, like, the only thing I know how to do is play catch. And so I
Okay.
was able to work with staff and administration teachers. How can I use this to encourage students? And then all of a sudden they start saying, you know, this kid could use a little bit of encouragement. Would you have time to meet with
Mhm.
him? And I'd take him to the gym when there's no one else in there, and I'd empty out my bag of gloves and balls. And one of my favorite stories is this kid, and they're looking at this pot, and it is readily apparent that they've never played catch before.
Right. Right.
And they looked at me and they're like, I've never done this. And in one of those moments where you actually say the right thing at the right time, and I said, well, it takes courage to do something new. And they're like, I'm in. I want to be brave.
Oh, wow.
And that was how our relationship started. And really beginning 15 feet apart, just barely tossing in the ball, using a softball. So in case it hit him, it
Yeah.
wouldn't hurt. By the end of our 6 weeks together, we are spread out the full length of the gym, and he is throwing it as hard as he can. He's like, come on, can you throw it harder? I was like, no, I am not throwing it harder to you. And to this day, I mean, more than a year later, anytime he sees me in the hall, he does everything. He breaks line, he runs, he yells and screams and gives me a big hug.
Mm.
And then I get on to him. I was like, have you been in trouble this week? Well, only a
Right.
little bit of trouble. No, let's stay out of trouble. And so through the experience with the schools, now summer's coming up, and I'm trying to figure out what to do. And I was like, well, what if I created a program that gives students the opportunity to do what I did? And mine was playing catch every day. And that's how I really
Mhm.
learned. And I designed this program with two of my supervisors, and the summer break is 70 days, 10
Mhm.
weeks. So out of those 70 days, you play catch 50 of them. So thinking, you get your weekends off, and we put parameters around it. So you have to play catch with me once a week. And when
Okay.
we play catch, we're going to talk through some leadership curriculum that I designed. What does it mean to be a leader? A leader is someone who learns. A leader is someone who encourages others. A leader who's someone who recognizes the power of attitude and how that is contagious. So out of your 50, 10 are with me. Out of your 50, you choose 15 community leaders, from mayor, chief of police, fire chief, all these community leaders. You go play catch with them and see what you can learn with
Oh
them.
my gosh, that's brilliant.
Yeah, and then so now half of them are with adults. 10 me,
Mhm.
15 with community leaders, 25 are your choice. You just can't repeat. So if you want to play catch with your mom, that's fine, but you can only do it once.
Okay.
And then if you complete the 50 days at the end, we give you a leadership award of $500 to say, I mean, all these lessons that you've learned through, I mean, time management, reaching, you have to do some kind of
Yeah.
communication. I mean, there are all these
Mhm.
things. It is worth $500. And so, we did the pilot program last summer with 3 boys, and it's been two of them still stay in touch with me weekly. Like
Wow.
I'm now working with one of the boys to plan a teacher appreciate. He's a senior
Mhm.
baseball player at his high school, and we are planning a teacher appreciation game for he has 8 seniors on his team. They've each nominated a teacher, and so he's going to help honor them at a baseball game here in just a couple of weeks. And so we meet weekly to talk about how all right, what do you have to do next? What are your next steps? And so it's been amazing. It's been amazing. And so coming full circle to Drop Dead Generous, we're now this upcoming summer
Mhm.
increasing the number of students. I'll be working with 4 softball players, 4
Mhm.
females, and at least one a soccer player. And then there might be one or 2 others involved. But I'm going to use the money that Drop Dead Generous gave to me will eventually be will sponsor a student. It'll be their leadership award at the end of the summer. So
That's incredible. I'm so happy to hear, I've known John for a long time, so I knew him previous to this project, but I stumbled into their workshop at South by Southwest about a year ago.
oh.
Totally, I literally, it was like crowded party, no room to move. And John went by, and I literally just grabbed on to his shirt tails and followed him. And he and Tom were doing the workshop on Drop Dead Generous upstairs. I literally just grabbed on and I remember Tom grabbed on behind me because we were trying to get through this crowd, and he didn't know me. He'd never, met me before. And he was like, well, you're following John, so you must be. And I was like, wherever John goes, it's going to be interesting. So
Awesome.
absolutely right. So I ended up in that room. But basically, um, I've been following ever since. I've been on the monthly call. I've been kind of keeping an eye. I did apply for a grant, but I apparently have been put in the piss take category because I applied for a grant for a squirrel karaoke machine, and they did not take me up on funding my project. So but no, I'm attempting to volunteer in some way, shape, or form with them going forward. So we'll see what develops, because I'm an odd shaped peg. It's not even a square peg round hole. It's like a jigsaw puzzle piece, kind of shape. So finding where I fit in all of this is always challenging, but
I understand that feeling.
I've just been following all of these people and projects as I hear about them, and every single one of them just lights me up with joy, and yours is no exception. They are sprinkling joy on the universe with glitter, and it's amazing. And I'm so grateful to you for saying yes to me. You're the first Drop Dead Generous person, other than Tom and John, to say yes to being interviewed. I go on the call every time, and I'm like, guys, I have a podcast. It has 2 listeners. One of them is my aunt. Come be on it, and people are like, we don't know about this. And and the people who say yes, I'm always like, oh my gosh. So
Then
yeah.
after they're on, you ban them, right? Is this
Well, so yes, if it started, that's so crazy. Oh my gosh. It started with I have a friend who's a well-known writer and a podcaster, and I knew he wasn't going to say yes to being on my show, so I just preemptively banned him just to get his goat and annoy him. And I know it's driving him nuts, and he knows who he is. But then I was amused because I'll just say that the person's name is Chris, which is the reason I bring it up is because then I realized that I knew more than one New York Times bestselling author named Chris, and then I decided to ban all New York Times bestselling authors named Chris. And it turns out there's a lot of them. First of all, there's a lot more New York Times bestselling authors than I ever knew till I went looking. And second, like a surprising number of them are named Chris. So I just decided to ban all of them because of the first one. So that got amusing. And then I just started banning other people. And so now if anyone says no to being on the podcast, they automatically like get banned. But I started banning people that I actually wanted to be on the podcast. And then sometimes I would forget that I banned them, and then I would interview them, and then we'd be like, oh, wait, aren't you banned? And then what's funny is now people are asking to be banned. So I had at least 2 people that are like, can you ban me? And it's like, okay, wait, is this the thing people want to be banned now? So I don't know what's going to happen with that, but the whole banning thing turned into its own animal gradually over time. But yeah, so I believe John was one of the ones that I forgot I had banned him, and then I interviewed him anyway. So, and then Elaine wants to know, well, first Elaine asked me, how long before you banned me from the podcast? And then came back and was like, or no, when I put it on, I was adding him to the banned list, and then I decided to put it up for a vote. So you can vote for whether I ban Elaine, yes or no now. So like now it's just gone to a whole different level of craziness. I don't know. Anyway, we got derailed because I do that. But yeah, so I started the podcast probably about a year ago, and you know, it's very homegrown. About half the time we do something wrong with the sound, and can't yes. hear one of us or both of us, or I sound like a robot or something. Some of like, unfortunately, the video for the Tom and John interview is like, you know, really terrible and grainy and so on and so forth, which is really sad because it was like their interview is fabulous. So I'm hoping to like maybe strip the audio off of it and make it a separate just listen only podcast episode eventually, because I feel right now like the video is not great, but in this case hopefully will be good enough that I can use the video. So I put them all up on YouTube afterward, and awesome. And just the people that have said yes so far have just blown my mind. And I think I'm the biggest fan of my own podcast. Like I've probably listened to the initial episodes at least 10 times. You know, I get something new every time. I think this one is probably no exception. I have a feeling that something you said there is really important. And I feel that way every time I get someone on here. Like there's no accidents here. Yeah, because something about that play being essential just really landed. And, you know, apart from my jokes aside about, you know, giraffe accomplice and being a comedian, you know, I changed my LinkedIn profile recently to say that I'm a giraffe accomplice, and now into giraffe crime is my specialty. Like I have skill in giraffe crime. Like if you look at my LinkedIn page, I don't know. I occasionally just get these little spurts of something like where you just, everything is hilarious, and especially your own jokes, and like yes. People have no idea what you're talking about, but I just go on these like random tears. And so my latest one was that I updated all of my social media profiles to say that I'm a giraffe criminal, and that comes from a meme someone sent me that I thought was just absolutely hysterical. So I don't know, something is going on with me, but this will surprise no one. But it connects to something you said today about that play being essential. I think that message is really important, and especially for kids. I think we're always telling them to be more responsible and be more serious and be more adult, right? And that's wrong. It's backwards somehow, you know. And it's not like we want the whole fabric of society to come apart because everybody's just out like throwing frisbees. Like it's not that, close. You know. But at the same time, maybe that wouldn't be so bad, right? Now that I say it out loud, I don't know, but I do feel like what you're telling kids is really key. Like,
I think if we, I would love. I mean, it's never going to happen, but if we would carry around baseball gloves like we carry around cell phones, what if you are?
Oh,
yes.
Oh my goodness.
What if you are walking down the street and you just, oh hey, look at that. You got 5 minutes? Here, let's just go right over here and just right? There you go.
I don't know. Now I want to try. I can't remember the last time I've played catch. I don't even know that I know how. I used to throw a football with my brother
There you go.
in high school because my brother was really, really bad at throwing a football, apparently. And this was like an essential boy skill in the South. So he asked for my help because I was the older sister. So he was like, "Hey, will you help me?" So I'm weirdly good at throwing a football of all things. I can't do anything else football related. Don't know anything else about football, but like for whatever reason, I can throw one about the length of a driveway or whatever and be fine. But it was just to help him learn this, like, essential boy thing that apparently he needed to know, which is so weird that that's a thing. But I know baseball, I don't think I ever did, or catch, like maybe a little here and there. But anyway, so I'll have to try it and see how that goes. Yeah, I haven't done it in years. I don't know. Does it matter what kind of ball it is?
No.
It could just be like a tennis ball or something, right?
Sure.
Hmm.
You get to manage the stress. You get to decide.
Right. Okay. I like this. No, when you said that about what if we were all carrying like a ball and a glove instead of a cell phone, and I just had this like, I want to try that and see what happens. I think just walking around with one, I have a feeling. I take it you've done this, given the project you were doing. Like, no, you haven't walked around just like visibly carrying.
I usually carry them in a backpack because I have extras, and so.
Sure.
But I do have friends actually again in your state that he will wear a glove to the grocery store and just carry it around.
Oh man. Okay. Well, you've definitely given me some ideas to play with there. Well, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate your time. And tell me again. So, what is your most recent book? Because I know you've got a few listed there. So which one is more recent?
The most recent is a novel. It is called The Life-Saving Adventure of Gracelyn Gordon and Her Dog. And I will give you 2 warnings about it.
Okay.
There are typos in the book. I think I've caught most of them. I'm pretty sure I've caught most of them by now. There are more than I am comfortable with being in a book, and every time I see one, it kills me. Part of my soul dies because. But
I love finding typos. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't want one like so typo ridden that it was unpleasant to read.
Yeah, there's literally on the first page. There's one.
But like, I kind of delight in catching typos.
Oh, yeah.
And,
I found one in the latest Grisham. I found one.
Yeah, see, it makes you feel better, right?
Yeah. Oh, now that I say that, it was New York. It was a New York Times book. I think it was the Grisham I was reading. And if it's not, John, I apologize to John Grisham when he sees this. If it wasn't your book, but there was a New York Times that had one. It only had one. So warning number 1, there are typos in it. Catch them, have fun with it, whatever. Number 2, the dog lives. This is not a dead dog story. This is not a dead dog story.
Thank you, because I am of the old yeller traumatized generation, so yeah.
So in fact, if you when we get off here, email me your address, and I will get a copy in the mail to you this week.
Oh, that's lovely. I would really appreciate that. I really am a voracious reader. I read like hundreds and hundreds. It turns out I probably have a condition called hyperlexia. I only learned that recently too. It goes along with the autism. Like it's that like insatiable need for words and language, and like wasn't sure until I had my mom here for her last visit, and I got to ask what was I like in childhood questions, and I was like, did I play with the refrigerator magnets a lot? She's like, oh yeah, hours and hours. And I was like, okay. like, did you teach me to read? And she's like, no, you just kind of knew. And I was like, okay, yes, I do. I'm like checking the boxes off as I go, But anyway, so it turns out that my need to read voraciously is actually a medical condition, and I got it certified, and now I need books. Yeah.
Well, now knowing that, then I will give you one more warning.
Okay.
A coworker bought the book, and she came in the next day, and she was, you could tell by her nonverbals something was wrong, and she said, I couldn't stop reading, and I stayed up till 2:30 in the morning, and now I'm tired.
Thank you for warning me. Yes, I will save it. Open carefully. Open. It should be like we need some like a sticker or
This
something.
book is dangerous.
Like
Once you
open
start,
with care. Yeah. Once you open this one, you're not gonna be able to put it down, right? Like, yeah. Maybe there need to be like multiple colors. So it should be like red is like, do not touch this one in the evening, or you will not sleep. And then green is like, this can put you to sleep, maybe. And
yes,
just have like
fantastic idea. What a beautiful
no, what if we started
rating system for books? That's wonderful.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much, Ethan. It's a delight
My
to get
pleasure.
to know you. I'm going to turn the recording off and then we can
Okay.
say goodbye for real. Hold on one second if I can remember how to do it again. Ha ha ha. And farewell, lovely people. Hooray.